Super enough.
All right, boys. Time for some dumb football questions here.
Hit me.
Finish up the show. You can always submit via the YouTube comment section on the O-Line Committee YouTube channel. Click that like button and the subscribe button if you haven't already. Maybe you're new here. Welcome in. Happy draft week. So, actually, you kind of already addressed this one from Dave Poe, but it said, if Jeremiah can answer, how many players in the draft does he represent? Regardless of the answer, how do you have time to do a podcast during draft week? And most importantly, how crazy is Saturday night post-draft for an agent?
Saturday night's fine. Everything's done. Hayes in the barn, as the coaches would say. By Saturday night is decompress. I will have a stiff drink. We will go out to dinner, hopefully celebrate going 8 for 8, which means all clients have a home and are in the NFL, and we did a successful pre-draft. But Friday and Saturday are the crazy busy days, right? Crazy busy days for us, talking with teams. Hey, what are you hearing? Where are you going? And then Saturday really is when it just completely comes to a head with the undrafted free agency stuff. Like, that stuff's wild. Like, we'll have whiteboards up in our war room, right, where you have all the guys, and so when the phone rings, you get an offer, you write it on the board, you go through, okay, here's our offers, what are we thinking? Because you don't have a lot of time. Right, because like I explained earlier, these scouts' job is to sign the player. So if a guy scouts me and says, I have X amount of dollars for your offensive lineman, are you in? I have probably 2.5 minutes to accept or reject that deal before that guy has to hang up and get to the next person on his phone.
So you have to stay on the phone with him for those?
No, I'll say, hey, I'll call you right back. Right, but I have 2.5 minutes to say yay or nay. Right, maybe 5 minutes if it's a high tier guy, right? And you have to judge that based off, and then you have to say, okay, what are the other offers that we have? Do we like this offer? Do we like this position? Right? Because if I say no, I will never get a call back from that guy again because they have moved on to the next guy on their stack, right? And it's their job to make sure at the end of the day they stack their room with the right guy. It's not, hey, we only got all the tier 2 guys we had. We didn't get anyone because now that scout's on the hot seat.
So you have to know, like, before the draft is over, for this guy, these are 5. I already know these are 5 warm leads for UDFA offers, right? Mm-hmm. You're not feeling that out.
No.
After the 7th.
You have to be ready to press the go button immediately. Right?
Eject.
The phone calls, they come quickly and fast, and it's a lot of moving pieces, and you have to make sure that you know when to fold, when to hold, when to bluff, when to pump, when to pull out, right? It's a lot of going on in that realm because it happens fast, and then sometimes you're just happy to get a call. Like we had a guy last year, we had one team interested, and we ended up getting the bid against themselves, which is a really hard thing to do, right? But it worked, and we got a guy signed. Like, it's super fun. It's my favorite weekend of the year as an agent.
Here's a dumb question off of this. How do teams know which phone numbers to call and how many people are representing each agency and each player, like, because you're not the only one at your agency. So how does the flow of information and phone numbers work?
Well, that's what a lot of has been happening over the last 10 days, right? Is I've talked to, between me and my partners, we'll talk to 5 to 10 people from each team, right? We'll talk to our connects, the Midwest scout, wherever our guy's from, that area scout, talk to some high level guys, right? Maybe hit a couple GMs, hit a couple pro personnel directors that are doing cross checks. And a lot of it is just like, hey, I am the main POC, point of contact, for the 5-0 lineman. Zach's the main POC for these guys. If you can't get a hold of me, then you call Chris. Or if you can't get a hold of this guy, then you call me, right? We kind of have a pecking order of how that goes. And that's just really to make sure that everyone is streamlined in communication. And we've started the conversations already about interest level, right? That's what this whole last few weeks has been about, is like, hey, by the time the draft starts on Thursday, every player will have a ranking system that I've created of like, hey, here's your 10 tier 1s, your 10 tier 2s, your 10 tier 3s, right? These 10 love you, these 10 are so on you, these 10 say you're not even on their board, right? Like, so that is all what's going on now, and then it's my job to stack those and change that as the draft goes, because a team that really likes our guy, right, and I might have as a tier 1 team, goes out and drafts 2 linemen, 1 in the 2nd, 1 in the 5th, they're now out of my tier 1 because now the roster is even harder, regardless if they still like him or not, right? So there's just a lot of moving pieces that happen on draft day too on that realm.
Let's see. Jay Lee 5692 says, how important is personality in picking or drafting or acquiring, however, players in the NFL? Personality.
I don't know that really goes into factors.
Oh, it does.
For quarterbacks, it probably does for
No,
sure.
I think for a lot of teams, it's culture based. But
yeah, but I think if somebody's more quiet, they're not going to be knocked because they're quiet, as opposed to guys that are more loud. They're going to be more.
Well, that's the thing. Like character red flags, I guess would be the question.
That's a different thing.
Not
That's
necessarily
huge.
personality, but like personality red flags are a big piece of the draft process.
Big.
Speaking of, did you guys see? It's so sad, but there was a mugshot going around this morning of Justin Blackman.
Blaylock, yep.
Fifth
Dude,
overall
he looks terrible from what he used to look like. And I was actually just looking at that before we jumped on. That is such a shame, dude, because I remember when they drafted him, I think he only played in like 8 games before he was suspended like indefinitely for weed and alcohol. I think people, that goes a little under noticed at times, that these guys deal with so much. And I think at times the teams need to be more of a support system for these guys. And that's what always kind of drove me a little bit nuts, was like the team's kind of there and they do a little bit. And at times they're like, we're doing as much as we can, but they really don't, because you kind of have a lot of control. And if you just got in there and got a little more rough with some of these dudes, they wouldn't be ending up having all these mugshots and looking like shit and dealing with all these problems. But that is a fucking shame, because that kid was talented as all shit. And he was like
gosh.
5th overall pick, right, for the Jags?
Yeah.
And like 13. I remember when he got drafted, I was like, dude, this kid's a fucking stud. 8 games later, they were like, he'll never play again. And
there's that famous story of, I think it was like the Buccaneers, I think it was, sent a scout to essentially follow him to college bars during the draft process. And they were like, yeah, I mean, we can't. He has to be taken off our draft board because we see what he's doing in these bars.
And it wasn't just weed. It was the fact that he was getting DUIs and drinking a ton. Like, dude, Josh Gordon got the most screwed out of any person in the NFL. Talented as all shit, just couldn't stop smoking weed. I don't see a problem with that. The minute you're getting DUIs and you're at the bar late at night and you're not giving a shit anymore, that's when people should be like, okay, this is a problem. We should get in front of this full steam, right? And just remember, most of those players will listen to you if you go, hey, the checks are going to stop coming if you don't go to fucking rehab. We're going to drive you there every fucking day. And when you say enough is enough is enough with the checks coming too. Like, eventually guys will wake up to that, but the teams don't do enough. And it's sad, because I saw that mugshot. It looks nothing like him.
Yeah. And I mean, and back to like the idea of the character and personality, it's not, the draft is obviously about getting talented players, right? Like that is the end all be all, is we want to draft the most talented players. But you have to forecast a little bit of, hey, when we get this talented player, what baggage comes with him, right? What baggage comes with him? Can he handle being an NFL player? Does he have 35 dependents that are going to be calling him every single week asking for a check that's going to take away from him being able to contribute to this football team, right? Does he have a personality? Because Booney knows this too as well as I do. I've always believed this. Money doesn't change who you are. It just heightens who you actually are. Like money never, I don't think money changes who a person truly is. But life-changing money, and you're talking millions of dollars, will just heighten who you actually are at your core, right? And so if they see a guy that's going, man, I don't know if this guy can handle being an NFL player for 4 years, I don't think we can draft him in the second. Like, I don't think we can draft this kid and give him $7-8 million over the course of 4 years if we might only get a year out of him because he can't handle the mental pressures, or the family's going to be an issue, or he's going to be out at the bars and get a DUI and we're going to have to cut him, or whatever it might be. Like, that stuff plays such a factor into the draft compared to just, oh, he's a shy guy or he's a loud guy. Like, it is what you bring with you into the NFL will follow you. And if you don't get deemed by the NFL being able to handle that, they will drop you. They will
100%.
drop you and drop you and drop you until maybe you're looking as like a 7th rounder now when you could have been a 3rd.
Billion-dollar business, dude. Billion-dollar business. They are going to look in. They've been doing this for 100 years. They're going to watch their ass. They're going to know everything. But, dude, when I went to the draft or the combine, they knew shit that nobody had ever known. Like back alley stuff, me and one other person, I was like, nobody will ever find out about this. They were like, tell us about this night. How about this night? And you was like,
dude, I got a call.
Talking to you. Who you been talking to?
I was down at the Senior Bowl, and I got a call from the NFL. There 3 years ago with John Michael. I was at the Senior Bowl. I got a call down at the Senior Bowl, random number, picked up like, hey, this is John with NFL Securities. You got a second? I was like, boy. What's up? He goes, we got to talk about John Michael back in 2021, 2020. I was like, okay. He goes, he's got an unpaid parking ticket that we really need to get off his record here before he gets to the combine. I go, from 2020? They're like, yeah, it's outstanding. Like, let's get this taken care of. Talk to John Michael. He's like, I don't remember getting a parking ticket. I was like, you got one, dude. Well, it turns out his buddy borrowed his scooter at Minnesota, parked it illegally, got a parking ticket, never told him about it, but it's on John Michael's record. They know everything.
That's wild.
I had my old offensive coordinator from high school called me when I was going to the draft. He was like, hey, dude, the Jags just called me to talk about you. Good luck. I was like, I haven't talked to this guy in 6 years. 6 years. I haven't talked to this guy one time.
Crazy.
They know all.
And they know everybody.
Family. And they don't just know all. If they get a lead and they get a thread, they're going to pull. And they're going to pull until they get to the bottom of it. And they'll be like, hey, this guy, he's got a long-lost dad that he's never not talked to. But I promise you, like, from history, if he gets money, dad's going to show back up into the picture. Right? Or, hey, he's got 6 brothers and sisters, and he's the oldest. He's going to be, and those guys have no money. He's going to be dependent on taking care of brothers and sisters. Is that worth him in the first, or do we probably want to take him in the third now? Those are all serious conversations.
No one showed up to his birthday party, and that's why Kevin Costner didn't draft Bo Callahan in draft day.
No one likes him. He's a turd in the building. Right? His coaches, they give us the runaround, but they don't endorse him. Right? That stuff matters so much in the draft. Now, once you get in the league, all that stuff can be put to bed, right? And you can show you can handle it, you can show all that, but the entry point will change on how you get into the league.
You mentioned that money doesn't necessarily change you; it just sort of heightens who you are at your core. Mm-hmm. If you guys like you guys made a good living in the NFL, but like if you had like $500 million, like $1 billion in like generational FU money, what kind of rich people would you be? Would you guys be fun rich people?
Oh
would you
God.
be charitable rich people? What kind of hyper
I'd be
rich
the
people would you
rich
be?
person that you would never see from again, ever again.
I mean, I'd like to think that it wouldn't change who I am. Like, I'd like to think that I would still tithe the same way that I tithe now. Like, I would think that I would still give to the same charities that I give now, but it would just be more. Like, and that's what I'd like to think. That's who I am as a core. And I think a lot of that comes down to my identity is not a football player. I find my identity in faith and family and friends. Like, a lot of it is just, what do you find your identity in? If your identity is I'm a rich person, then you're going to be an asshole. Right? That's just a fact. Like, if your identity is
true.
I have FU money, like, you don't worry about what other people think about you. You don't worry about your perception, like, because you're like, I'm above everyone else. I'd like to think it wouldn't change me a ton, but I can't guarantee if I had $1 billion that I'd be running a podcast on Mondays at noon. But I'd like to think I would be.
Knock it
I'd
off.
like to think I would be.
It's a fun,
That's the thing is, like, no matter what, we're just addicted to the grind. We're addicted to having fun on a podcast. I'm addicted to coaching kids in the gym and the violence on Tuesdays and the fucking around on Thursdays and the craziness on Fridays. Like, no amount of money would ever keep me away from doing what we're doing, just because it's like, dude, look how much fun we're having, right? Like, I tell the guys a lot in the gym, like, you forget the NFL is going to feed you 3 great meals a day, and they're going to put you up, and they're going to pay you a lot of money. What the fuck else do you need in life? Seriously, you're going to go to work all day and hang out with guys like me, put big dips in, laugh about shit, get cussed out, but they're going to pay you a lot of money to do it. They're going to feed you great food, and you're going to travel the world. They're going to take you to Europe, and they're going to show you around. Nothing will ever change. It's the grind that makes it fun. It's being with the guys. No amount of money would ever change who that is. It's like the question would always be, what would you do with $1 billion? And some guys like, you never see me again. You're like, that's so full of shit. Like, yeah, I'm going to see you.
You need like human interaction.
But
right?
there are some guys that I would full-heartedly, they'd be like, you're never going to see me again.
Thoroughly,
you're like, yep.
I would thoroughly. There's definitely a few guys where you're like, yeah, your phone doesn't exist. You're living in the woods somewhere. Like, if I come on your property, you're going to shoot me. Like, I totally believe that with you.
One of them we both know, and Sam Bradford. Never, like, even when you text him, there's nothing back. And he told us, listen, when this is over, boys, the train stops. People never. And we were all like, no,
Sammy,
stop
come
it.
on.
Shut the fuck up. You're going to come hang out. He's like, no.
Does he go to like OU games at all?
I have never heard from him.
I have never heard from him since he left.
I
don't know. I literally don't think he does anything besides hang out on his ranch in Oklahoma somewhere.
And hang with his family. Dude, he's the greatest dude in the world, but
Jake
that's
Long,
why I love him. Yeah.
Jake Long, same thing.
Turn the phone off.
Long, turn the phone off, change the number. If I don't need you, if I don't need you, you definitely don't need me.
But that's
right? And that's the way a lot of these guys view it.
Yeah,
it's thoroughly like the chapter of football is closed in my life.
Done.
I don't need anything from it. I am like starting anew, right? I am starting over and I am moving on in my life. So many guys do that.
Yeah.
So many guys.
Dude,
Which
there
is-
is. I'm Googling like Sam Bradford 2023, 2024.
Nothing.
The only thing that pops up is in 2023, Sam Bradford was a special guest speaker at the OKC Metro High School Sports Awards.
See? It's very chill, dude.
Probably had like a nephew or something there. Right? Like it was probably a family-oriented event.
Yeah.
Right. The next time we're going to see Sam is he's going to shoot like a world-class whitetail on his property, and he's going to show up on like the Outdoor Channel holding like a 250-inch mule deer or something crazy like that.
I would love to see him. I would. I miss him
Yeah.
a lot. He was a great dude. But that's why I said, like, we would have these conversations. Some guys like, you're never going to see me again. I'd be like, shut up, dude. I'll see you tomorrow. Like, you'd be back here tomorrow if they didn't pay you, whatever. It's fucking what we do. Some guys were like, you'll never see me. And you were like, that's okay. We need people like you in this world.
Yeah. Riley Reef's a similar guy. Like,
Same, dude. He had a
the second-
trailer in Nevada in the
no,
fucking
it was
middle
South
of nowhere.
Carolina, dude.
No, I thought it was in South Dakota.
South Dakota.
That's what it was. South Dakota.
Yeah, he lived
and then there
in,
was
like-
a massive
Dude, he was playing
barn.
on like I don't even remember. It was like $30 million a year or something like that. And he's like, yeah, I live in like 2 double wides in South Dakota.
And his
He's like,
workout
one's my
gym was
weight room. He goes,
bigger.
one's
Yeah.
my weight room and one's my house. My weight room's bigger.
He used to
like-
send me
he's like, I
pictures
just-
and videos.
He's like, I just push the plate, I lift, and then I just go fish all day. It's like,
That's it.
Dude.
love that for you. And that's what he's going to do for the rest of his life.
You
He's
love
going to
those
build a house out there. He's going to live there. Like, that's what he wants to do. More power to him.
God, that's
Yeah.
amazing. I remember, I think Kirk Cousins did an interview with Kyle Brandt. He used to have like a 10 questions, kind of a fun
Yeah.
NFL media podcast. And I'm pretty sure he asked about, they talked about like hiring Nickelback or Creed. What's Kirk's favorite band? Creed.
Creed.
I think it's Creed with Scott Stapp. And I remember,
Hometown.
but they talked about it's like cost like $200,000 to hire Creed for like a birthday party, and Kirk was like, it's too steep. That's the kind of rich guy I would be. Is I would just hire hilarious bands to play like private. Hey, you guys want to come over? I got
Mariah
I got
Carey
you
too.
too.
Bono's coming over.
Carrie Underwood singing at my birthday party
and she's gonna sing just the Sunday Night
Just
Football
the-
song on loop
on
for
repeat
2 hours.
for
Oh
2
my God.
hours.
You would be that. Hey, I'm not gonna lie. That'd be a great rich person.
I'll
I
say
would
this.
Come over. I'd come over.
Guys,
we know
we got-
we know
we got
people that are
Creed.
like that too, and those people were awesome to hang out with.
They were
like,
great.
Like, hey, come over. I'm ordering like $1,000 worth of food. I got the fights on in the backyard, like
Hey.
open bar. Just come on over. And
I
you're like,
will say, I have a
Okay.
neighbor like that. My mentor, he is the greatest dude in the world. He knows how to throw one of the greatest nights. Like he'll just come over and be like, "Hey, come on over, get some food." Next thing you know, it's midnight and you're having a blast, and all of a sudden McDonald's shows up. You're like, "What the fuck? How did he know I'm fucking hungry?" Like it's just you love those. Those are the dudes that you are
Yeah.
like, this guy knows how to fucking party. They're the
Yeah.
best, and the league has a ton of them. And mostly it's because the guys are so crusty that they're going to ask so much work from you that we got to have a little bit of fun. And you're like, okay. I remember going to one of those parties like, I wonder what this is going to be like as a rookie. And you walk out like, that show Playmakers was not wrong. Holy shit. I am so ready for this
Yeah.
life.
Ballers is slightly real. In people always ask me when I got an agent, they're like, "Oh, is it like Ballers?" It's like, no, not for me. But there is definitely people.
There
with
is that
Ballers
part.
Is the reality? that
Adrian
they're living.
Peterson's 30th birthday party had
Camels.
at least 2 camels.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All you
There's
need to
some
know.
wild times, dude. We've been through some shit.
There's
Oh,
yeah,
man.
there's things that are deep in the vault that will never be let out.
Sorry.